I want to welcome everyone to the first episode of Behind the Light, where we dive into the minds of the people you need to know. Today I have with me Deangelo Ellis, the CEO of Triple Threat Management and Sneaker Forensics, who he recently just merged with Shoe Gods DC as an official cleaner. Y'all say what's up to Deangelo, man.
What's up, people? How y'all?
Alright, so let's dive right into it, to the nitty gritty. So, Deangelo, what is something you wish people better understood about you?
That's a tough question. I would think basically I'm a cool down to earth person, but ultimately I'm focused on business. I'm a businessman first. I'm a father. So all that ties into each other, in my opinion, just because my business at hand is to take care of the daughters that I brought in the world. So if you don't know, I'm cool down to earth, but business always first.
That sounds good. So let's take another turn. So in life, we all make mistakes. So what's the biggest mistake you think you ever made?
Alright, so I don't want to say this wrong, but I would say early fatherhood. Not because of my kid per se, just because of the timing, the situation. I always was an advocate for feeling like if you bring a child in the world, you need to be able to take care of them financially. So at the time I was 19, so I felt as though I wasn't grown enough in my own space to be able to bring another life into the world. But ultimately, it made me a better man at the end of the day.
Make you a better man. So another question I have for you is, what's your definition of happiness? Like, what makes you happy? What makes Deangelo happy? Genuinely.
Genuinely. Money for one, because health is wealth. You gotta have some money to get around in this world. But ultimately, just being able to provide for my kids and my wife, being able to give them the life that I feel like they deserve. Not saying that I came from the toughest of times, but at the same time, I know how it feels to not have nothing. So being able to keep them smiles on their faces, getting them, they ask for something, I can get them whatever they want. That's what ultimately I do it for.
Okay. So, do you know what depression is?
For sure.
How often do you battle depression?
So I feel like it's levels to depression, in my opinion, because you could have something that, excuse me, my apologies. You could have something that hit you, you know what I'm saying, maybe last a day or two. Then you have other things that hit you and last for a little while. So I could say for me, it's more so I scratch the surface of depression often just because I feel like personally I put so much weight on myself. And if I feel like I'm not doing nothing on a particular day, that I'm falling behind or I'm getting lost in the mix. So I could say ultimately probably not as much as others. But mainly my depression would come from, I guess, my own self drive and trying to push myself to just be better and continue to keep moving and keep elevating. So from time to time, like I say, everybody that's looking to build and get somewhere in life, you definitely scratch that depression surface soon, or often per se, just because of wanting better for yourself.
I like that. So not even to really run through these questions, but what is your definition of greatness? What's your definition of being great?
A legacy. If people are able to know you before you actually cross their path, if they know your name and know your work and know what you've done, to me that's greatness. And my main goal, honestly, you know, some people want to be Jordan, some people want to be LeBron, some people want to be the hottest rapper, stuff like that. Me personally, my ultimate person I'm attacking right now, my biggest, I guess, competition is King Tut. That man is a zombie, or mummy, not zombie, that's been gone for centuries. And people still in school say his name, remember him for stuff he done. And I feel as though that's how I want it to be done for myself. Now, don't get me wrong, MLK is a big inspiration, Jordan, all of them have traits and stuff that I idolize, but at the same time, King Tut, again, it's been centuries and centuries. So I need people to remember I was here at the end of the day.
Nah, yeah. That makes perfect sense. Like, I'm glad you put it in, brought that to light. Let's talk about something else. So let's talk about, you say that you was a father. We all know you're a businessman. What's the toughest part of your day? on a daily basis, handling and not even juggling, but just maintaining that lifestyle, businessman, father, and just everything you do on a daily basis? What's the toughest part?
I would say work-life balance, just because again, every decision you make comes with a sacrifice. So by the time that I choose to come here to interview, I'm not with my daughters being a dad. Per se, the times that I'm with my kids, giving them, 100% of me, I'm not 100% businessly inclined, putting up a new client or setting up a new meeting or interview, stuff like that. So, I mean, it all comes with a cost at the end of the day. It's just making sure that when you do got that time to dedicate to the family or dedicate to the business, that you give it 100%. And then once you've done that, whatever you sacrifice, you make time for that on the back end. So to me, work-life balance is the hardest, just because with me trying to be a CEO and be an agent, that's a full-time 24/7 job. Whether I'm at work, whether I got another engagement that I'm required to be at or anything, it's still got work to be done. So that's the toughest part to me.
Work-life balance. It's something we all gotta do, man. So, we kept touching on the fatherhood thing. What do you think is the highlight? What do you think the highlight of parenthood is? I'm gonna just give you my opinion. I think I don't have any kids, but I think the highlight would be teaching. For me, I gotta teach them what I know. I gotta teach them what I'm learning, so they can be,
Okay. For me, I would say not only the teaching, but the growth. Like, you really watch something come from nothing. Like, I had to teach my daughters how to drink a bottle, how to, walk, how to crawl. So I got one that's turning 8 this year. I got the other one turning 1 this year. So being on both sides of the spectrum, watching one be growing to being independent, being able to do stuff on her own, and I only gotta tell her what to do and she can go do it, as opposed to now this one, I actually still got a guide and mold to be able to do the same thing. It's like mind blowing, bro, because for literally, she just turned 9 months, and I watched you go from being a little bobblehead that can't hold her neck up to now she walking, you feel me? So it's definitely a matter of you looking at it like, God, time be fine, but it makes you also feel like you really brought this into the world, and like she really blowing into something. Like my 8-year-old is playing soccer. I remember the days she couldn't hold her neck up, so it's like, I really made that and molded that. So it's definitely my biggest piece is just watching them grow, watching what you created turn into something great.
That's all right. So this is almost touched back on that. What or who inspired you to learn and grow to become a better man or better human? So as far as just practicing humility, so basically treating everyone as equals. Who inspired you to be a better man? Who or what?
I'm gonna say 2 things then. I'm gonna give y'all who and a what. The who is my grandparents. They came from South Carolina with $2 in their pocket when they was 18, with a baby, and they came to DC, basically made a shake. My grandfather did whatever he needed to provide for his, end up being 6 kids. And my Dukes held his crib down while he was at work doing what he had to do. So they showed me that even with nothing, like if you had that drive and determination to get to somewhere, it's gonna be done as long as you don't quit on yourself. The what per se would be my sacrifice, and having that daughter at such a young age, it just made me look at life a whole different. It made me, for one, grow up quicker, but it made me look at life in a whole different perspective. And initially, I'm looking at it as, I got nothing but time. It's me. At the end of the day, I know I'm not gonna give up on myself, but her coming into the mix made me look at it as time ticking, time not waiting for nobody. So the more and more you procrastinate, the more and more I'm watching her grow up and asking for stuff, and it's like, I can't have you look in my face, ask for something, and I can't get it for you. That's just not an option for me. So her coming into my life definitely, I want to say, definitely put a bigger speed on things for me. Made me definitely lock in and make me tell myself, all right, it's time to hustle, because every minute counts at the end of the day.
Facts. So now we're gonna take a little trip. We're going to focus more on the business side of things. We just got a little personal, just got to know who Deangelo was. So let's get into the business side of things. What do you look for in new clients?
For one, the same motor and drive that I got. Ultimately, in the business that I'm in, babysitting is not an option. Like I said already, time don't wait for anybody. So the minute that I feel as though you're dragging your feet, it's always somebody coming up after you trying to take your spot, ultimately. So being in the agency realm of things, as well as entertainment in general, it's always a new talent on the way. So it's a matter of, if you're not ready now, or if I don't feel like you putting in the same dedication and work that I'm going to be putting in, I'm not going to waste my time knowing that there's somebody else just as hungry and maybe even more hungry in that same profession.
I can dig that. So they gotta be hungry. They gotta be ready to eat. You know what I'm saying? So you're the CEO of a talent agency, right?
Yes, sir.
So what sets your agency apart from others?
I don't want to say we narrow-minded. We got 4 divisions. We got music, sports, acting, and films. And the reason I feel like that separates us is based off of history itself. Talent in all forms of entertainment likes to maximize their exposure, also maximizing their branding. So I done seen where rappers want to, you know what I'm saying, do celebrity games and be athletes. You done seen where athletes like Deangelo, when he got his free time, want to be a rapper. So it's like, why not give whatever client that I bring in the opportunity to maximize on themselves from jump? Most of the time, if you an athlete, you so invested in your sport, you don't got the time to tap into your other hobbies and other talent. Because most of the time, it's workouts, practice, sleep, do it all over again. So it's like, I want to give people an opportunity knowing that when you come in and sign with us, you can maximize on yourself. If there's ever anything that you had a dream or passion about in the past that you put on hold, that you felt like people wouldn't take serious, that's what we take serious. At the end of the day, I want anybody that comes to TTM to realize that we a family first, but then on top of that, we giving you opportunity to be who you are ultimately to the outside world, not what the world already perceived you to be. Because who knows, that football player might be a violinist. That actor or that model might actually got some hoop ability or something like that. So you just never know what untapped talents people got. So I feel like this company gives them an opportunity to completely open and realize who they are as a person.
So with that being said, since I just asked about, you know, your talent agency, do you think, or do you need a team to be successful?
Great question.
It's a 2-part question, so I don't want to sound like this, but it's a yes or no. So do you need a team to be successful?
I'm gonna say yes, first off.
Okay, so now on to the second part. If so, how important is team morale?
I think that's top 2, and it ain't 2. Reason being is, some people, you know, you got most of the people talking about they self-made, they did this on their own, they did that on their own. It's never true. At the end of the day, you still had a foundation that molded you from the jump to even go into whatever endeavor that you chose. And ultimately with the team, I feel as though it's so much that you want to do, but unfortunately it's so many resources that you need to be able to do certain things. So not having a team limits you. It makes you narrow-minded. For one, if it's something that you feel like is right, the next man or the public as a whole might not think that it's right. So if you know what I'm saying, by yourself, you ain't got nobody to critique that and tell you where you need to improve at and where you know what I'm saying, doing good at. Yeah. But on the side of morale, if you got a team that's just as hungry as you, ready to eat, if you're not keeping them happy, at the end of the day, they're gonna either eat off your plate or go get their own. Yeah. So ultimately, I think they go hand in hand. You having a team and keeping them happy is what makes you successful as an individual. And if you don't do that, you back to square one, you back by yourself, back at this drawing board. So team is everything, and I feel like we treat people accordingly, because at the end of the day, you want better for yourself, but making better for these people is the definition, or the people that are on your team is the definition of a boss, in my opinion.
I got you. What else I have? I do have another. It's almost personal, but it's still directed towards business. Describe some difficult leadership situations and how you manage people through them.
Okay.
We had a conversation about this before, and I kind of was intrigued with your response. So
I would say some difficult leadership situations I've been in is just a matter of juggling everybody's life on a general basis. People got bills to pay, they got to work. just like with me, I got bills to pay, I gotta work. So it's a matter of having everybody's schedule aligned, as well as being able to provide and keep them happy, keep their bills paid, and be able to live the life they want to live. So I could say the struggles are gonna come. It's just a matter of, are you gonna let the struggles define you and fold, or are you gonna take those struggles and see whatever you can to not only work as a team to fix it, but use it as growth. At the end of the day, setbacks gonna come. Nothing in the world is perfect. Nothing is ever gonna be the way that you exactly planned it, but you do whatever it takes to get to that goal that y'all have as a unit. I know with me, I got a team full of people that have the same dream and passion that I have, and that's why they joined the team in the first place. So it's a matter of them having that same dream and passion. Whatever I gotta do on my end to compromise either time, money, or just me being vocal and present, I'm gonna do that to make sure we get to that goal. Because at the end of the day, if you put your faith in me to follow this, my dream and my passion, I got something to uphold. At the end of the day, my word is everything. So I'm never gonna let the team that I got behind me down, especially if they put their faith in me.
Yeah. So because a lot of people they need to see it to follow. So if they don't see the passion in you, they won't.
Yeah, and I mean, the leader, man, the head of the snake, everything follows after. So if you that supposed boss or CEO or leader and you slacking off and you half-assing, that's you gonna get to your team. Ain't nobody to blame but you.
Right. Nah, that's real. That's a real spill, man. That's a real spill. But that may be closing out of the interview, or just us diving deeper into who Deangelo Ellis is. But I do got one more question. In the future, let's say a year or two, what's your goals and what's your dream as far as the business?
Man.
Where do you see yourself in the next year? New clients. How big do you see yourself?
Okay, so I first want to take over our area first and foremost. I mean, I feel as though there's so many areas that link up, like Atlanta, Detroit, where you got multiple people that get into these big industries and they realize it's us versus the rest of the industry. So I feel like, why not our area? So many times growing up, I felt as though the DMV as a whole has that crab in the barrel effect, to where once somebody starts to make it, and instead of supporting and everybody jumping on his wave to make sure they get there, oh nah, he sucked, or this what he lacking at, they always focusing on the negative instead of trying to uplift. So I feel as though we can be a powerhouse in the DMV area, so much untapped talent in all sorts of entertainment, from rappers, athletes, actors, and models. And I just feel as though, why not be one of the pioneers of making our area dominant? The same way we able to listen and look at these Atlanta artists and Detroit people and Florida, why not make that our area? I mean, I just feel as though, what's the difference? So ultimately with my business, I want to say, hopefully, God willing, we take over the sports side of things for sure, but then just getting our name out, letting people realize that we here. There's other, agencies as well as entertainments and entertainment companies, my bad, out here in our area, but I feel as though not a lot of people know of the resources that they have in the DMV area.